How's it going, everybody? This is your brother Mad Black, the most dangerous and the most toxic black man on the internet, and I'm black up in your face again with some more pro black commentary. I saw earlier this morning that the brother, Mr. Superboy, Harvey, and the creator of Your World on YouTube, that he made the announcement that his father has passed away. And if you know that brother, if you follow him, I would say please go send your condolences to him, because we've all, you know, followed Mr. Superboy over the years, and we've, heard him talk about his father and his upbringing, and we can tell that he had a lot of respect and love for his father. His father was probably his biggest role model, and I can understand that. All right, so send your regards and your condolences to that brother if you can, if you follow him on any other uh, platforms on social media. But when I saw that announcement, it made me start thinking about my own father and my own upbringing. So actually, very recently, my father has actually had some health issues too, and I didn't want to bring it up, but it has been bothering me a lot. And like my father, I think he I think his health issues stem from stress, because he has been helping out with my mother. Like my mother has been having some issues where she's had to go have surgery and stuff like that, and my father's been with her. And literally, while like my dad was at the hospital, like he passed out at the hospital, and they said that his blood pressure was way up high. So just thinking about, this is a man that I grew up with and saw him as so strong, and of not just, physical body, but, just the strength of his will and his mind. And to see him in that type of vulnerable state is just it's a hard thing for a son or a child to see of their father. And I think it made me think that, so often in our community, or at least in the outward parts of our community on the social media side, there's so much talk and so much rhetoric about the absentee fathers out there, that I think that the fathers who are there and the fathers who do what they're supposed to be doing, they kind of get pushed to the back burner as if they don't exist. And a lot of people don't realize just how special and how much love and respect that we have for our actual fathers out there. Okay. Because like I said, just thinking about my own, it's been tough, like I said, seeing him in that way, seeing him sick. And I know all of you who are older, or anyone who's had a father who's dealt with any type of health issues, that's got to be tough for you. It was just as tough to see my grandfather that way. My grandfather passed away of cancer back in the early 2000s, like right around the time that I met my wife to be. Like we were just dating, going out, boyfriend, girlfriend at the time. And my grandfather got really, really sick. And like he had been sick for about a year, but he got really sick then and passed away. So, seeing him, in that state as well, having to be hooked to like a hospital bed, having to have nurse care and stuff like that. That was tough for me as well, because my grandfather was also like one of these men that was just a paragon of strength, not just physically, but like mentally, always very mentally sharp. He had a great wit and could be very funny at times, but also just um, a very, you know, stalwart and, very strong man, and then having to see him like that in that way, it was tough for me, because I had always seen him just as this big, strong man. He grew up on a farm, was in the military for years, and even worked security all the way up, like on the military base until his retirement. So, seeing him in that state was tough for me. And, like I said, people don't realize just how important fathers are to our people. And even like the fathers who are there, just how big of a support system they are, to our family. Like that, when my grandfather passed, that left a big, big hole for some time. A lot of people in my family were really hurt by that because he was like one of those very stable factors who had like always been there. And when he passed away, that was very tough for us. Like there was even a little bit of drama after he passed away. I won't get into that here with some of my family members, but it was tough to have him pass away and leave us there. But we eventually got over it. But still, that's a tough thing. And then for my father now to be having some issues, and he's doing better now, but he's back to his normal jovial self, it seems like, and he's doing a lot better, and he promises he's going to take it easy and not stress himself out, and I hope he keeps to that. I hope he can keep to that. But it's tough when you have someone that you look up to like that, and then they start to fall into this very vulnerable state. It's very interesting. It almost even reminds you of your own mortality, because we all won't be this young and vibrant forever. You start out as a child, and your parents are taking care of you, and then sometimes you wind up having to take care of your parents. It's tough to see that. So I just wanted to say a lot of honor and respect to all the black fathers out there. You guys are very important. And I know a lot of you here grew up with your own fathers, and you've had great memories with them. If you don't, I mean, some of you probably still have great memories with them because your father's still alive. But it's tough for those who lose that patriarch. It's really, it's not an easy thing. Like I'm even saddened by like thinking about when my stepfather passed away. When my mom got remarried after my parents got divorced, and my stepfather passed away when I was in college. That was tough. And that really was, scary for me, because he passed away like he went to work that day, or at that evening, because he always worked third shift at the hospital. And then he got off from the hospital, was doing his completely normal morning routine. He would always make breakfast for everybody. He would then go outside and water his plants. And then when everyone went to work and to school, he would go lay down and get some sleep after his shift or whatever. And for whatever reason, that day he just never woke up. He passed away in his sleep. And from what I understand, from what I was told, my little nephew, he was very young at the time, was the one who found him in the bed dead. Like he went to go wake him up saying, "Pop, pop, it's time to get up." And then my sister went in there saying, "Dad, you don't hear your nephew talking to you?" And then like she felt his hand and felt his arms and realized how he was stone cold right there. So that's a sad way to find your loved one and to find your patriarch. I know any way for them to pass away is tough, but for something like that to happen all of a sudden just seems, that was tough on my family as well. And then my mom had to, come home from work and find out. I think my sister called her and just told her to come home, and then my sister told her in the driveway before she could get in the house, and which was a good thing, because I don't know how my mom could have handled just seeing him like that dead as the paramedics are taking him out, right? But it's that type of thing happening. Like I still feel bad about that, and I still sometimes, this sounds weird, but I'm sure other people have experienced this as well. Sometimes you still dream about those people like they're still alive, and and like for a split second in your dream you think they're still here, but they're, when you wake up you realize that they're not, and then you feel really bad when you wake up in the morning. So it's tough when that stuff happens. And once again, a lot of I just want to send a lot of honor and respect to all those brothers out there, all the fathers out there, because once again, I know it's tough. I know it's not easy, and I know as an adult now and as a father myself, I realize just how much stress my own father probably suffered at times in his life. Like when I look at my father, and my grandfather, I always just see them as, just these total paragons of strength. Like, I know they weren't perfect, but I always saw them as people who kind of held it together. Like my perception of them as a child was always someone that I could rely on for whatever advice, or, you know, if anything was going wrong, they were that rock in the storm, right? So, but now as a father myself, I know that even if my family sees me like that, or if my daughter sees me like that, I know that there's still stresses and things that I deal with that is hard for me, and certain emotions that I have, and I try not to let her see those things. Like, I'm sure, she probably doesn't remember this because she was very young at the time. She probably saw me crying when my little brother passed away, but other than that, I don't think she's ever really seen me in a vulnerable state, right? But it's interesting. Like, as a man, you always want to try to project at least that view of strength for your family, but we all still deal with stresses and pain and everything else just like other people do, right? We're not completely invulnerable to that stuff, but we kind of hold on to that on the inside so we could be that strong backbone for our family. So I know we deal with that, and I just wanted to say once again to the brothers out there, and to the men and to the fathers, I understand, and I wish you nothing but love, honor, and respect, and strength to you. I know it's not easy. Okay. So once again, my condolences to Mr. Superboy. My condolences to anyone who has lost their father at any time, or grandfather, or whatever man was special in your life or was a patriarch in your life. And, you know, respect to all those guys out there, because like I said, I know it's not easy. But you folks can let me know about, maybe your patriarch or your father in the comments section, and let me know how special they are to you, whether they passed or whether they're still alive now. Anyway, Mad Black, and I will be back with my foot on the devil's back.